The restaurant was buzzing with laughter, clinking glasses, and the hum of expensive conversations. To everyone there, it was just another night of luxury. But to her, it was survival. Clara balanced a tray with shaking hands, the smell of roasted truffle and wine filling her nose, her heart pounding with exhaustion. She was on her third double shift this week. Rent was due. Her son's medication was running low. Still, she smiled. Because that's what waitresses do. Smile even when the world forgets they exist. Then she noticed something. At table 7, the millionaire's family, a little girl, maybe 10, sat quietly between her laughing parents. At first, she thought the child was just tired. But then she saw it. The pale skin, the trembling fingers, the way the girl's breathing stuttered like her chest couldn't keep up. Clara froze. Her mother's instinct kicked in, the same instinct that had saved her son once. She rushed toward the table. "Excuse me, sir, ma'am," she said gently. Everyone turned. The father, tall and polished, frowned. "We didn't call you." Clara swallowed. "I know, but your daughter, she's not okay." The girl suddenly slumped forward, the glass slipping from her hand and shattering on the floor. Gasps filled the room. Someone screamed. Clara dropped her tray and ran to the child's side. "She's not breathing," she cried. The millionaire shot up, panicked. "Someone call an ambulance." But Clara didn't wait. She pressed her fingers to the girl's pulse, her voice trembling but steady. "Come on, sweetheart. Stay with me." Her hands moved with instinct, firm, practiced, desperate. The entire restaurant had gone silent, all eyes on the poor waitress kneeling on the marble floor, fighting to bring a billionaire's daughter back to life. And as the sirens grew closer in the distance, no one knew that this woman, this forgotten waitress, was about to change that family's life forever. If your heart's already racing, stay with us, because what happens next will leave you breathless. And if you love emotional, true-to-life stories like this, please subscribe and join our SoulTwist family today. Hours before the chaos in the restaurant, Clara stood in front of her cracked bathroom mirror, buttoning up her faded uniform. The fluorescent light above flickered weakly, humming the same tired rhythm as her life. Her reflection looked older than 32, not because of time, but because of everything she had to survive. Her son, Leo, a bright-eyed 6-year-old, sat on the edge of the bed, swinging his legs. "Mom, will you be late again tonight?" he asked, his small voice full of hope. Clara forced a smile, kneeling to tie his shoelaces. "I'll try not to be, sweetheart." But they both knew she would. She kissed his forehead, lingering there longer than usual. Then she whispered, "Be good for Mrs. Jenkins, okay?" Leo nodded, clutching his worn-out teddy bear, the one his dad had never seen. The memory of him hit her again, the man who had promised the world, then vanished the moment she needed him most. He didn't know about Leo, and she never had the heart to tell him. Clara took a deep breath and left the apartment. The hallway smelled of damp walls and old cigarettes, but she walked with her chin up. She had learned how to survive on little money, little sleep, little love. At the bus stop, she watched the city wake up. People rushing in suits, scrolling on phones, barely seeing anyone around them. But Clara noticed everything. She noticed the old woman clutching her chest in the crowd last week, the one she helped sit down before an ambulance came. She noticed the pale teenager at the diner who fainted from skipping meals. And she noticed patterns, the small, quiet signs that something was wrong, because she had lived them herself. When you've seen pain up close, you never forget what it looks like. That's why, when she walked into the restaurant that evening and saw the little girl at table 7, she didn't just see a customer. She saw her son. She saw every night she'd spent in a hospital hallway, praying he would breathe again. And she couldn't just walk away. Because somewhere deep down, Clara believed, maybe the reason she'd suffered all those years was to learn how to save someone else. If this part of the story is already breaking your heart, stay with us, because what happens next will test everything Clara thought she knew about fate. The sirens grew louder. Clara's hands moved on their own, one pressing gently against the girl's chest, the other tilting her chin. The crowd had backed away, forming a frozen circle of fear. "Someone get me water," she shouted, but no one moved. Then a strong male voice cut through the silence. "What are you doing?" It was the girl's father, the millionaire. His eyes, sharp and filled with panic, locked on Clara. She looked up, her palms still trembling. "She's not breathing properly," she said firmly. "She needs air now." He crouched beside her, his expensive watch glinting under the chandelier. "Let the paramedics handle it. You're just a waitress. And your daughter's turning blue." The words left her lips before she could stop them. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. The man froze. He looked down and saw she was right. Clara began gentle compressions, whispering, "Come on, sweetheart, breathe for me." Her voice cracked, filled with a mother's desperation. She wasn't just saving a child. She was saving every moment she'd ever lost. After what felt like forever, the little girl coughed, a weak sound, but enough to make everyone exhale in relief. Clara turned her on her side, brushing a strand of hair from her forehead. "She's okay," she whispered, tears filling her eyes. The millionaire, Ethan Blake, stared at her like he couldn't believe what he'd just seen. For a moment, the mask of wealth and control slipped away, replaced by something human. Then, before anyone could say a word, the medics burst in and lifted the girl onto a stretcher. Ethan followed, shaken. But as they passed, his daughter's small hand reached out and clung to Clara's wrist. Her voice barely a whisper. "Thank you, Miss Clara." Clara froze. The sound of her name, from the lips of a stranger's child, made her chest tighten. She didn't remember giving it. Ethan looked at her sharply. "What did she just call you?" Clara blinked, lost. I don't know how she knew." The medics wheeled the girl out. Ethan followed, but not before turning to Clara with something between gratitude and suspicion. "Don't go anywhere," he said quietly. "I need to know who you are." The words sent a chill down her spine, because for the first time that night, Clara realized this wasn't just about saving a little girl's life. It was about to change hers forever. If you think you know where this is going, bestie, you don't. Stay with us, because what Ethan discovers next will shatter everything he believed. The next morning, the sky over the city was pale and heavy, the kind that promised rain again. Clara sat by her apartment window, still in her uniform, hands wrapped around a chipped mug of coffee that had long gone cold. She hadn't slept. Her mind replayed the moment, the girl's trembling hand clutching hers, and the way Ethan had looked at her, as if he'd seen a ghost. She'd saved lives before, small, quiet acts of kindness that went unnoticed. But this felt different. This felt like a door had opened that she wasn't supposed to step through. Her phone buzzed. An unknown number. She hesitated, then answered. "Hello, Miss Clara." It was a deep voice. "Come." Measured. "This is Blake Enterprises. Mr. Blake would like to speak with you." Her stomach dropped. "The man from last night?" "Yes, ma'am. His driver will pick you up in an hour." She looked down at her plain dress, her tired face in the reflection of the window. A part of her wanted to say no, but curiosity, and something deeper, wouldn't let her. The Blake mansion was everything her world wasn't. Quiet, pristine, and surrounded by manicured perfection. Ethan met her at the grand entrance. He looked different now, softer somehow, without the arrogance he'd worn at the restaurant. "Thank you," he began, his voice low, "for saving my daughter." Clara shook her head. "You don't need to thank me. Anyone would have done the same." "No," he said. "They wouldn't have noticed. But you did." A beat of silence stretched between them. His gaze lingered, searching her face, like he was trying to place her. Then, before she could leave, he added, My daughter hasn't stopped asking about you. Would you stay for a while? She'd like to thank you herself. Clara hesitated, then nodded. When she walked into the room, the little girl's face lit up. "Miss Clara," she said, running to hug her. Something inside Clara broke open. The warmth, the innocence. She knelt down, brushing the girl's hair back. "You look so much better," she said softly. Ethan watched them, silent. His daughter hadn't smiled like that in months. As Clara helped tidy the child's toys, something on the wall caught her eye. A framed family photograph. Her breath hitched. The woman in the photo, Ethan's late wife. It was the same face she'd seen in an old photo her mother once kept hidden away. The same woman who had written the only letter Clara had left from her father, the man she'd never met. The room tilted. Her pulse quickened. She whispered under her breath, "No, this can't be." Ethan turned, concerned. "Clara, are you all right?" She stepped back, tears flooding her eyes. "I have to go." "Wait, what's wrong?" Clara shook her head and fled the house before he could follow. But as the door closed behind her, Ethan caught a glimpse of the envelope she dropped. It was old, worn, and on the back, faintly written, "To Daniel Blake, his late father." Ethan's eyes widened. His hands trembled as he unfolded the letter inside. And with every word he read, his world, and Clara's, began to unravel. If your chest feels tight already, stay with us. Because what Ethan discovers in that letter will change everything they thought they knew about love, family, and fate. Rain poured again that night. The same kind of rain that started everything. Ethan sat alone in his study, the letter spread open on the mahogany desk before him. His fingers hovered over the faded ink, tracing each trembling word as though he could feel his father's voice behind them. "If you're reading this, it means I've made mistakes I can never undo. I had another family once. A daughter I never met. Her name is Clara." Ethan's hand fell still. The room tilted. "Clara." He whispered her name like a confession. "She'll grow up with nothing. But she's innocent. And if one day our paths cross, please, do right by her. Don't let my sins become hers." His throat tightened. His vision blurred. He pressed the letter to his chest and whispered, "Dad, what did you do?" The next morning, he found himself outside Clara's apartment, rain dripping from his coat, heartbeat unsteady. He didn't know what he would say. How do you tell someone they're your family when your family broke theirs? He knocked. When she opened the door, the exhaustion in her eyes mirrored his own. "Ethan," she said quietly, "why are you here?" He held up the letter, the paper trembling in his hand. "You dropped this." Her breath caught. She tried to take it, but he didn't let go. "Clara," he said softly, "who was my father to you?" Her eyes filled instantly. She stepped back, as if the truth itself hurt to breathe. "My mother loved him," she whispered. "She worked for him before you were born. He promised her forever, but when she told him she was pregnant, he disappeared." She paused, her voice cracking. "He left her with nothing, Ethan. No name, no help, just me." Ethan's world shattered with every word. His father, the man he idolized, had left a trail of pain behind the wealth and power. "I didn't know," he said hoarsely. "Clara, I swear to you, I know you didn't," she said. "That's why I never told you. I just needed to see for myself, to know if the Blakes were as cruel as the world said they were." Tears blurred her vision. "But you weren't. You were kind. You gave me your jacket when I didn't deserve it. You saw me when no one else did." Ethan stepped closer. "I saw you because you reminded me of what my father used to call grace. I just didn't know. You were the proof of his guilt." Clara shook her head, smiling weakly through tears. "No, Ethan. Maybe I'm his second chance. And maybe you are too. Silence settled between them, heavy but healing. Then, from the small room behind her, a soft voice interrupted. "Mom!" Ethan turned. A little boy stood there, sleepy-eyed and innocent. "Leo." Clara froze. Ethan's heart stopped. The resemblance was undeniable. The same hazel eyes, the same dimpled chin. He whispered, "You have a son?" Clara nodded slowly. "He's my whole world." Ethan crouched down to meet Leo's gaze. "Hi, buddy," he said softly. "Do you like cars?" Leo nodded shyly. "I fix them sometimes," Ethan said. "Maybe I can show you one day." Clara's lips trembled. "You don't have to." "I want to," he said firmly. "Because maybe your mother's right. Maybe this is the universe's way of fixing what was broken." Clara looked away, tears spilling freely now. "Ethan, what are you going to do?" He took a deep breath, his voice barely a whisper. "I'm going to be the kind of man my father should have been." And in that moment, with rain against the window and the echo of a little boy's laugh, the ghosts of the past began to fade. Because forgiveness doesn't erase the scars. It just teaches you how to live with them. The days that followed felt like breathing for the first time after years underwater. The storm had passed, outside and inside. Ethan showed up at Clara's cafe every morning. No bodyguards, no suits, no headlines. Just him, and a quiet sincerity that slowly chipped away at the walls she'd built around her heart. He helped her fix the broken tables, played with Leo between customers, and once even burned an omelet trying to make breakfast. Clara laughed for the first time in months that morning. A real laugh, the kind that carried light into every corner of her small apartment. But this wasn't just about laughter. Ethan wanted to make things right. One afternoon, he invited Clara and Leo to the old Blake mansion. She hesitated at the door, the memory of that letter still echoing in her mind. "I know what this house represents," Ethan said softly. "But I also know what it can become, if we let it." He led them through the halls, past portraits of stern men and silent wives, and into a sunlit room she hadn't seen before. In the center, a framed picture of her mother, restored, honored. Next to it, a smaller frame, one of her, taken at the cafe. Clara froze. "Ethan, what is this?" He smiled gently. "A new beginning." He turned to Leo and knelt down. "I want you to have every opportunity one had, and more. This house, this business, my life. They don't mean anything unless they make people's lives better. Starting with you too." Tears streamed down Clara's face. "You don't owe us this." "I don't," he said softly. "But I need to. Because for the first time in my life, I know what family actually means." She covered her mouth, sobbing quietly. Ethan stepped closer. "And if you'll let me, I'd like to build one. With you." Weeks turned into months. The cafe expanded, funded not by charity, but by partnership. Clara and Company became a symbol of hope in the city, a place where people from every walk of life came together, reminded that kindness could still exist in a cold world. Ethan spent weekends helping Leo with homework, teaching him how to ride a bike in the garden where he used to hold board meetings. And sometimes, when the sky darkened with rain, Clara would look at Ethan, soaked, laughing, alive, and remember the man who once gave her his jacket without knowing who she was. Now he'd given her something far greater. A home, a future, a love built not on wealth or guilt, but on grace. One evening, as the three of them watched the sunset from the balcony, Leo looked up and said, "Mom, are we a family now?" Clara looked at Ethan, her eyes glistening. Ethan smiled and pulled them both close. "Yes, Leo," he whispered. "We always were. We just didn't know it yet." The camera lingers on them, framed by the golden sky, the storm finally behind them. A story of forgiveness, of finding light where there once was shame, and of love, not the perfect kind, but the healing kind. Because sometimes the family you're searching for is the one that finds you. Sometimes the people meant to save us don't walk into our lives by chance. They walk in because life refused to let us stay broken. If this story touched your heart, take a deep breath. And remember, kindness costs nothing, but it can change everything. Subscribe to SoulTwist Stories, where every story reminds you that love, forgiveness, and second chances still exist. And when you're ready, click the next story waiting for you on the screen. Because somewhere, someone's miracle is already unfolding.